what's good my peeps? It's been a hot minute since I made a regular video, because I've been doing so much streaming lately. And for those of you that haven't seen those streams, recently I 100% at BLEACH Rebirth of Souls. I beat the whole game on my channel, and I got the Platinum Trophy on the channel too. Those streams are still up if you wanted to check them out. I decided to make a playlist because it was like basically a Let's Play, so I'll just, link the playlist somewhere in this video, so you can check that out if you want to, but I digress. I wanted to talk about the game, and funny story, this is like my 5th time trying to record this video, because every time I start talking about this game, I start ranting and rambling, and I kind of get ahead of myself. Like, I lose the plot in my own frustration. So I don't have a script here, but I do have some notes, and I'm going to try to present my opinion in a way that doesn't cause an aneurysm and get to the point as quickly as possible. So if you end up coming away from this video with questions about why I feel the way that I do, either feel free to leave them in the comments, or hell, tell me that I should just make that 1 hour long ranting video, and I'll probably do that in the future. But I digress, let's get into it. The story. Not a fan of the story. Simply put, the cutscenes are entirely too long, the presentation is abysmal. This game does tell the story of Bleach fairly well, but it doesn't tell it better than the manga or the anime, so the fact that it puts so much effort into these extremely long cutscenes of characters with extremely jank animations, or sometimes no animations at all because it's just a character standing away from another character while dialogue is flowing. The story is incredibly long, but it has such a low budget that you can't really appreciate anything that's going on. You'd be better off skipping the cutscenes and actually just reading the manga. Yo, Skinny from the future here. I wanted to interject here because there was a point I forgot to make, and that's the fact that there's so many scenes that I wanted to see be recreated in this game that just straight up don't happen because of how low the budget is, and that was a big disappointment for me. I'll put some examples on screen, but like these are scenes that would have looked so cool with the in-game models, and it just didn't happen. Instead, we just get characters standing apart from one another while the dialogue is still happening, but we don't get to see these iconic panels or anime shots, and that really killed a lot of my enjoyment when looking at the cutscenes. But yeah, that was it. Pass Skinny, you're good. Then there's the secret story stuff, which I do like a lot of that because it's original content. It suffers from the same issues of a low budget, so it's just characters standing around or showing off their incredibly low budget jank animations. But it doesn't really add anything. Like, a lot of the stuff here isn't stuff that you can't get from the source material. More so, it just adds to it in a way. In some instances, it is completely new stuff, and that kind of makes it better. For example, there's a secret story for Stark where he's just having a regular old conversation with 𝐼𝐸𝐻, and I thought that was really nice because we never actually saw those characters interact on screen. And like a huge part of Stark's character is that he wanted friends to be with, but you never actually see Stark interacting with those quote-unquote friends, the Espada. But in the secret story, you actually get to see that. You get to see him conversing, you get to see him being friendly. And I thought that was really nice. But there were so few moments like that, at least for me. Like, a lot of the secret story was just stuff I didn't really care for. But when I did care for it, it was genuinely really good. But it wasn't good enough to make me appreciate the story anymore. So with all that being said, I'm not a big fan of the story. I'm not trying to say that the game shouldn't have had a story mode. I'm just saying for me personally, it's not something I have any intentions of replaying. Then there's the mission mode, which I'll just be blunt, I don't like it whatsoever. It was fun at first when it was new, and you don't start off with all the difficulties. You actually have to unlock the difficulty tiers as you progress the story. So getting to unlock the higher difficulty tiers and then going to try the mission to see the enemy difficulties and stuff like that, that was a lot of fun at first. But then the more you play it, the more boring and repetitive it got. And the only real reward for this is the resources that ultimately don't even mean a damn thing. The soul crystals and talismans add so little to this game that I don't know why they're in the game at all. It seems like a weird afterthought because the way the game is structured, you can play this entire thing without ever using either of them. You don't need talismans to win the story mode. There are some story missions where they definitely help. Same thing with the soul crystals. There are missions where it will definitely help, but you don't need them. You can play this entire game both online and offline without any soul crystals or talismans. I don't know why they're in this game. So for that to be the only reward in mission mode, it's not worth it. It's just not fun for me to play. And then the last thing you can possibly do in this game would be the online mode, which, oh boy. This is typically where I got really ranty in the last attempts to record this video. So I'm just gonna put this as straightforward as humanly possible. The online is dog shit. The netcode is terrible. The matchmaking is terrible, and the lack of game modes is so unbelievably frustrating. Now, funnily enough, I'm not one of those people that are saying this game needs a ranked mode. I wasn't one of those people crying about no ranked mode at launch. I don't think this game needs a ranked mode. For me personally, a ranked mode in a game this unbalanced and goofy just wouldn't be fun regardless. I don't need to see some arbitrary growth in numbers for me to have fun in a video game like this. Like if this game had a ranked mode, all my grievances would still be here, and the lack thereof is not a problem for me. But what is a problem is the lack of any traditional lobby system or a tournament mode. The omissions of these are so baffling that it's almost like they didn't expect this game to have an online scene at all. If you want to play with a group of friends, well, you're SOL because only 2 of you can play at a time. Did you want to spectate your friends in a match? Well, you can't. The only way to do that is sharing the screen on Discord or booting up a PlayStation party. The only way to actually enjoy this game online with the group is through convoluted means, and that's so bizarre. Why is there no lobby system? Now, I can understand no ranked match, but no lobbies? And then there's no tournament mode, which I guess you could say doesn't necessarily need to be in this, because I don't think a lot of arena fighters, if any of them at all, aside from maybe 𝐼𝐼𝐳, I'm not sure, I haven't played that enough. I know it has one offline, but I don't know if it has one online. But even still, not a lot of arena fighters have online tournament modes, so you could say that this game didn't need one either. And I guess I wouldn't say it needed one, but it definitely would have helped. It would have been something. If you're not going to have a ranked mode, at least have something like that. So yeah, that's where I stand with all the playable game modes in this game. I don't really like any of them, so as a result, I don't have any fun with this game. The only thing I haven't really touched on is the gameplay itself, and to be honest, I don't think there's any way for me to talk about the gameplay without rambling. So to put it as simply as I possibly can, I don't like it. I'll be honest, I don't like it. I especially hate the movement. I think the movement is the biggest thing for me. I don't like the way it feels to move my character, the sidestepping, the dashing, flash stepping. All the movement in general just doesn't feel good to me. It feels very weighty and stiff, and there's a lack of flow to it that a lot of other arena fighters just have. I can't really explain it all that well, but if you played a game like Saint Seiya Soldier Soul, for instance, or hell, any of the Dragon Ball arena fighters, most notably 𝐼𝐼𝐳, that's a recent one. My personal favorite being the Raging Blast games. Like when you play games like that, the movement flows very smoothly. And in comparison, Rebirth of Souls just straight up doesn't have that style of movement, because at its core, it's an arena fighter without the things that makes an arena fighter fun. Because it's an arena fighter that's trying to emulate a traditional fighter. And I think the game is worse off for it. The battle mechanics themselves are pretty good. I think for the most part the mechanics are fine, but I don't think this game lends itself well to that style. I would say that the game is better in concept than it is in execution. Now again, I could go into more detail about that, but if I do, I'll start ranting, and I'm trying to get this video to be as short as possible so I can get my point across, because boy do I talk a lot. So if you're wondering where I stand on the game overall, as of now, not that big of a fan. I remember saying something along the lines of I would come back to my Bleach games tier list to see where I would put Rebirth of Souls, and I had expected me to put it higher on the list because based on all the trailers and stuff we were getting, I was thinking this was gonna be the game for me. I'm thinking this was about to be my game of the year. There's no way I can put it down. I'm gonna be playing it all the time. And boy, was I wrong. But for those of you wondering where I would put it on the tier list, honestly, I think I would put this as a really high C or really low B. There are just so many other Bleach games that I would much prefer to play over this one. As much as it sucks to admit something like that, that's just the case for me. Now, if you're somebody that this is your favorite Bleach game of all time, hey, more power to you. I respect your opinion. I wasn't making this video to tell you guys how you should feel. I wasn't making this as an objective review of the game's quality. This isn't really a review at all. Rather, this is just me sharing my opinions, since, you know, that's what I did at the end of all of my Bleach game videos. I shared my thoughts on the games, and then I made that video ranking the games, and so here we are. I may as well do that same thing for Rebirth of Souls, right? But anyway, that does it for this video. If you made it this far, why not give it a thumbs up as well? By all means, feel free to tell me how you feel about Rebirth of Souls in the comments below. You love it so much that you can't believe I would criticize it, and as a result, you want to leave a comment telling me about how I should keep myself safe? By all means, let me hear it. But for me, this was not the Bleach game I wanted, and it's a shame because I love 𝐸𝐸 and I love Bleach. You would think a combination of the two would be a hit for me, but it wasn't. But hey, it was an experience, and I'm glad this game exists nonetheless. Before I close out, as always, I want to give a huge thanks and shout out to my members. Don't forget to check out the Rebirth of Souls playlist, and yeah, I'll catch you guys whenever.